Hey, good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. Watching the chickens. I realize that I am greatly blessed to be a member of a tribe, the Shofarians. It is not by happenstance that I am. I also realize that many of y'all would love to be a part of something like that, but you just can't make it work for whatever reason. And so, for those of you who would love to have a group but don't, or have a small group and would like a larger group but don't, I think this video may be useful to you. Maybe. Let's see. I shot a video this morning for YouTube, 2 videos in 2 days. Number one, I'm trying to sell that shirt. Keep calm and carry on. But 2, I got enough comments of decent people, which is a rarity on YouTube, that I decided I wanted to get back to them about how those of us who are switched on can feel something in the air. And so I went there, and I don't need to rehash that ground with you. It'll be out. I tried to load it today for 4 hours, and when it had like 27 minutes to go, it aborted. Oh. And while that's doing that, I can't do anything else. So, blah, wah. So it'll be up eventually. One of the things I told the people was having a feeling is fine, but you gotta do something about it, right? And most of y'all understand that. And I told them what I've told y'all, us, repeatedly. The 2 greatest threats in a end of the world type, grid down, WROLSHTF situation is starvation and people behaving badly. And so then I told them to come out of her on my people. But today we're talking about you and groups and how you're not in a group or a tribe, but you really want one. I did a write-up, I think, or maybe I just posted the video, I don't remember. It was a while ago, of one of the opening scenes of the movie Black Hawk Down, where the UN is delivering food aid in the backs of these trucks. There's a Black Hawk helicopter with some Rangers on it flying, just recon. And the warlords move in, and some, they kill all the people going, not all of them, but they kill some people and intimidate all the people going for the food aid. And the guy says this food belongs to Muhammad Farah Aidid, the warlord, one of the warlords there. And so he was controlling the food. This is historical. Not only did that happen, basically, in Mogadishu, but I mean it's historical throughout human history. Control the food, control the people. I read an interesting parts of an interesting little write-up, but it was just so biased against liberals and the left. But the bias was just dripping off of it, and I just, disingenuousness, and I just can't take it no matter what side it's on. It's just too much. But part of it was talking about how the left, and I may get some of it wrong, but basically the left is itching for a civil war, but what they don't realize is that all their food and water and power comes from where the right is, out in the country. And about the time the right, their terms, figures that out and cuts it off, then it's going to be horrible to live in the city. Yep. No food, no water, no electricity. You. How much food do you have? How much food do you have stored up? How much food are you willing to share with a stranger? My wife produced a pretty popular for her video on what to do with family members I don't remember what she called it, but basically we all have these family members who give us unending crap about being preppers. What do you do with them after SHTF and they show up, right? And truth be told, I haven't watched her video. I don't know what she said. But you've got food stored up, right? You should. How much do you have stored up? How many days, weeks, months, years of food do you have for you and yours? You willing to take in the next door neighbors? Assuming that there's 4 of you in your family and 4 in the next door neighbors, if you take them in, you just halved your food supply. If you take in 4 more, you just, whatever, right? 2/3. You willing to do that? I've talked before about people who say, I'll share with anybody. And I said, yeah, will you? When it comes down to the point that either my little 3-year-old girl gets this spoonful of lentils and lives, or doesn't and dies, I ain't giving those lentils to this fat slob who didn't do anything to prepare. Right? Okay, well, if you've made that decision, where's the cutoff? Where do you quit doing your handouts to these people? Because anything you hand out diminishes your supply. And the thought being that this is end time stuff, that Walmart ain't opening up again in your lifetime, right? The Whole Foods ain't opening up again in your lifetime. So you got what you got. I have an idea for you to kick around, and that is this. Food right now is cheap. It is so cheap. Beans and rice, rice and beans, the Dave Ramsey get out of debt diet. Cheap. Wheat and corn, cheap. People have used such things in historical past to control entire populations. So how much food do you have stored up? What if you stored 4 tons of rice and 4 tons of beans and 4 tons of corn and 4 tons of wheat? You could have an army. An army of people doing good as opposed to an army of people doing bad. I did a video talking about barter items, barter booze, and I got the predictable self-righteous comments from many people on YouTube, many of which I banned, but that's another story. But yeah, bartering booze, right? Think about what you could do with food. What if you had enough food for 8 other families? 8 other men, 8 other women, 16 other kids. I just pulled that number out. That would significantly increase your ability to handle things. Don't you think? Now, the way we do it as Shofarians is it's just understood and it's checked. You will have a year's supply of food for every member in your family as a start point. Boom. But what about if people show up who aren't Shofarians and we decide we want to keep them? I've been thinking about, somebody, I think on here, mentioned getting a, what did they call it? Like a grain silo or something? I've been thinking about maybe getting some of those. You see them outside of barns and cattle operations and stuff like that. It's like a metal water tower looking thing with a cone on the bottom of it. And they fill those with some kind of cattle feed. I'm wondering if there's a way that I could fill one of those with wheat or corn or rice or beans and have it not go bad, not get buggy. You know, maybe on those feeders that they use for the critters, and I don't know because I'm not a cattleman, maybe they go through it so fast they're not worried about bugs. I'm talking long-term storage of bulk produce, you know, grain. Think about the power that would have. I mean, what if you bought 3 train cars full of grain and put it up? What would that cost? I don't know. It'd be a lot cheaper than buying it wrapped in a 5-pound plastic bag at the grocery store, you know, per pound. And the ability for you to turn that food into something else is amazing if you think about it. It's not beyond the realm of possibility for the average person with a job to just store a whole bunch of rice and beans and then think what you could do with it. I'll take you on. I'll feed you 3 squares a day, and for that I need you to do this. That's human history throughout the eons, written like that. Something to think about. I'm interested in y'all's comments. Yes, I am. I think together we learn more. All right, got food? I'll see you out there.